The rod and reel setup, any spinning setup with a medium to medium light power with a fast or extra fast action in between a 6'10" to 7'3" rod length will get you by for this technique. I use 15-pound braid to 8-pound fluorocarbon as well for your terminal tackle. Again, simple, size 1 or 2 drop shot hook and a casting sinker with a line tie. All right guys, for the baits, pretty much make it as simple as possible. Some type of worm pattern. This is a Berkeley shaky head worm. You could use robo worms as well. And this is just a minnow pattern. This is a Demiki armor shad. And those are pretty much the only 2 patterns you'll actually really need to start out with, at least. All right, my first retrieve that I like to do is just cast it out, let it hit bottom, and reel up the slack until I'm at a taut line. And I'll just let the bait suspend there on a taut line for as long as I like. Could be 10 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever you feel like doing. And then I'll slowly drag it a few inches and do the same thing. Just leave it on taut line. So if I ever feel a bite, I'll feel it immediately because I'm on a taut line. And the bait's just sitting there suspending. And it'll actually still wiggle in the water, like it's actually moving down there, because these drop shot baits, they're very erratic, let's say. They don't need a lot of twitching or anything like that. The bait will actually just have the action itself without you doing anything at all. And that's the first retrieve that I like. The second retrieve is kind of similar to the first one. Is I'll cast it out, let it hit bottom, and instead of having it on taut line all the time, I'll actually drop it and give it some slack, and that bait will actually fall down in the column, or the water column, and then I'll lift it back up, taut line, it'll shimmer back up. You could hold it there and let it go slack again. And you'll want to watch your line when you're letting it go slack, because you could get a hit at that point. And I'll just do the same thing. I'll do that, let it sit in place. And after it's been sitting in that one spot, I'll drag it a few inches and do that same retrieve. Let it sit on slack line. Maybe give it a twitch here every so often, but I really don't, because I mean, the bait's actually just doing all the action for you pretty much down there. And that's the second retrieve that I like to do. The third retrieve is actually a pretty aggressive retrieve. I don't hear too many people actually doing this on drop shots, but I've actually had luck on it. Is you'll cast it out, and like I said, it's very aggressive. I'll actually hop it. I'll pop the rod up from, I mean, a good 12, 24 inches, and then I'll make the bait shoot off the bottom, and as it falls back down, that's when the strike will usually happen. It's more of a reaction strike, and you can just hop it up and down all the way back to the boat or the shoreline, wherever you're fishing, and that's a good way to get actually some good reaction strikes. Fourth way I like to retrieve it is just to cast it out, let it hit bottom, and actually just drag it the whole way back really slow. Pretty simple. Nothing too special about this retrieve, but it works. Just maybe let it sit there for a second, drag it a little more, let it sit, drag. It's kind of like the first technique, but you're mostly kind of just dragging it consistently. You're not stopping it long periods of time. Right, I think that's going to wrap up the video. I know it's not too in-depth on this technique. I'm a beginner as well at this, so it's really the tips that I felt like giving out. Hope you guys learned something from it. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.